Stop chasing the person you love. If he or she has already said they don't want you, understand this. It never worked and it never will. It only makes things worse. Even if that person still cares about you, every message, every subtle jab, every time you insist, it just chips away at your value. While you are begging, the other person is free to live their life. Go out and get involved with people who add nothing of real value. But the reality is simple out there. It is getting harder and harder to find something solid. And it's when that realization hits that many people finally see what they lost. But here's a crucial detail. If you are always available, humiliating yourself, crying in public, posting indirect messages, the other person's certainty will be, I can do whatever I want, because if I decide to come back, it will be easy. Even if it hurts, the only way out is to disappear. Avoid indirect posts. Don't beg. Stop the chase. That is what truly makes them wonder. I know it seems impossible. After all, can't you imagine life without the person you love? Everything seems dull, as if nothing has color anymore. You try to accept the end, but the urge is stronger than you, and almost without realizing it, you beg for another chance, as if it were an impossible addiction to control. If this describes what you are feeling, I understand your pain. The end of a relationship can be so devastating that it shakes your very identity. You lose sleep, you lose your appetite, you spend hours staring at your phone, waiting for a message that never comes. You compare yourself on social media, believing the other person's life is perfect while yours seems shattered. And the worst part? You start to believe the problem is you, that you weren't good enough, that you'll never be loved again. But let me tell you something that can completely change how you see all of this. Rejection doesn't have to be the end of your story. It can be the beginning of your emotional freedom. And that is exactly what I teach in the ebook, Freedom from Rejection. This is not just another book full of pretty phrases. It is a practical and direct guide made especially for women who want to overcome a breakup without humiliating themselves and recover their self-esteem. Inside, you will discover why chasing them only increases your suffering and how to break this vicious cycle that feels like an emotional addiction. You will learn to protect yourself from the traps of social media, which only fuel comparisons and create illusions. You will understand what a truly healthy relationship is and why an ending doesn't mean failure. In fact, a relationship that ended may have been essential because it brought lessons you will carry for life. I will also show you how to act with maturity during a crisis, without making things worse, without giving even more power to the other side, and without placing yourself in a position of inferiority. You will learn to rationally analyze whether it truly is worth trying to reconcile, or if the healthier path is to move on. This point is crucial. Many women, in the heat of the moment, humiliate themselves and insist, believing they are fighting for love. But in reality, they only increase the distance, the contempt, and the suffering. With the method I teach, you will have the clarity to decide if the relationship deserves a new chance, and if it does, what is the right way to act so you don't push the person you love even further away. And if the decision is to move forward, you will have practical tools to go through the grief of the breakup, rebuild your self-esteem, and free yourself emotionally. These are simple yet powerful exercises: journaling to identify patterns, creating symbolic farewell rituals, planning your weekly self-care, training empathy to deal with conflicts, establishing healthy boundaries, and above all, rescuing your dignity. Imagine a few weeks from now, sleeping peacefully without waiting for messages, waking up without that anguish in your chest, looking in the mirror and liking what you see again. Imagine feeling confident again, with energy to take care of yourself, to rediscover hobbies, interests, and even open up space for a new love, but this time a healthy love, where you don't have to beg to be valued. And there's more. Freedom from Rejection was created not just as a read, but as a true pocket companion. It will always be on your phone, tablet, or computer, ready to be opened anytime. Whenever that wave of negative thoughts hits, that emptiness in your chest, or the suffocating feeling at work, when everything feels heavy and difficult, you will have immediate support. Because I know this pain doesn't just stay in your heart. It interferes with your work, makes it hard to smile, to concentrate, to maintain your routine without showing it. And that is precisely why this material was made to be with you always. If you choose to acquire this material, which is rich in knowledge and experience from someone who has lived all this, know that it is on one of the most reputable, secure, and well-known platforms in the world, Hotmart. Plus, if for any reason you are not satisfied, and I am certain that won't happen, you will have 7 days to ask for a full refund. The decision is in your hands, risk-free, pressure-free. Now is your moment to choose you, to invest in you, in your peace, in your dignity, and in the life you deserve to live.